Hey everyone, I don't want to kill my plant. Welcome back to This Old Kitchen. I'm Rebecca. This is my husband Steven, aka Coors. Um, this is going to be a different video than I normally put out. It's a lot more personal. So if there are younger ears that are paying attention to this, may not be something you want them to hear or you want to hear. But again, this whole channel was started to leave something for my daughters, and to help them kind of navigate life and do the things that unfortunately I have not had my mom here to do. So we are going to be talking about menopause. Yay. And the truth and the realities of what I've been going through, what I've discovered, and kind of different things. Before we get to our talk and kind of get your idea on um, what you feel I've gone through and what you've gone through dealing with this. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I am 54. I had a partial hysterectomy when I was 41, I think it was. So I still had my ovaries, but I wasn't able to have kids anymore. So navigating the things that have kind of hit me when I entered menopause and now perimenopause was very confusing because I didn't have a period for a very long time. And so having other health issues come up along with this was a really confusing, yes, the dog's right here, a really confusing road for me. Um, so perimenopause is basically when you have not had a period for a year, surgeries aside, just naturally. And then menopause is where everything kind of starts happening to you. And when I started, I guess it was about a year after we moved here to Denver.
No.
It started with night sweats. It started with hot flashes, things like that. And I was also going to the doctors for some liver issues and other things that were going on. And so it was just very confusing for me to figure out what was menopause, what was going on, and you don't really get a whole clear picture from the doctors because a lot of doctors don't understand what goes on with a woman's body and they don't specialize in it, and so it was very, very difficult.
Okay. Well, where would you like to start?
Well, let's start with the first thing that kind of really kicked your butt.
Kicked my butt.
Yeah,
Wow.
the
Well,
testosterone.
yeah, marrying my wife, I think was the first thing that kicked my butt. And then after that, it went downhill. I mean, it's as a man who, as a man, and I think men in general, they don't really have a full understanding of what women go through, um, not only with menopause but just their health. The way you're gonna go take care of that dog. Okay. And so, this journey with her, watching her battle all of these changes hormonally and psychologically, emotionally, has been quite a journey. It really has. And we used to, for a long time, had a very active, very healthy sex life, and that has gone to non-existence. And it's not because
Not because of interest.
it's
It's
not
not.
because of interest, but because her body's basically just saying no, just saying no. And we go to the doctor. I went with a couple of doctor trips with her, and to get her, to talk about hormone replacement therapy. And the costs are just astronomical because basically I feel like the government just hates women, because it's just not covered. And the more I've done my own research on it, and I find out that menopause, if it's not treated and if it's not really handled, there are a lot of potential things that can happen down the road, to her, that are more uh, grave than what she's going through now. I mean, it's linked to Alzheimer's now.
Mm-hmm.
It's linked to osteoporosis and all these
Mm-hmm.
other conditions. and
Ovarian cancer.
ovarian cancer,
Hmm.
and and so menopause, it really is a struggle, for her and for us as a family. And I feel bad because it's not, there's no fault here. It's not, there's no, well, you didn't eat right, or maybe you should exercise a little bit, or any of that. It's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, it's had its struggles between us. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it was smooth. It hasn't been
Hmm.
at all. I mean, it takes a great deal of understanding. And if there's guys out here who happen to watch this, I'd say study it. I mean, truly get an idea as to what the condition is and what it can cause your partner to go through. I mean, she's had tests after tests about with her hormones, her estrogen levels, her testosterone levels, and it was just surreal to me. Like I think her total testosterone count was 3
Hmm.
before they started talking about therapy treatments, and they wanted to get her another test to show how much free testosterone that she had. And I was like, it's between 1 and 3. How the hell do you want to find out? It's just silly
Yeah.
to me. I mean, sometimes I feel like the medical system is just a
Go lay down.
profit generator.
Go lay down.
Um, and so she sees life differently. We see life differently now. We're both 54. Our bodies are both slowing down. I can't do half the stuff I used to do just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because of the physical limitations of what happens. Knees are going out, the hips, and eyesight's getting bad. The whole 9 yards, and you know, getting old sucks. And for her, what I'm going through, I'm surprised that she gets up some days. To be honest with you, she hurts really bad, and her emotions go all over the place. And I think that it's important. Important's not the right word. I think it's critical that you understand it. You understand what it is, you understand what the potentials of it becoming, and understand how to be supportive. Because when you don't understand something, at least for me, can't speak for everybody, but when I don't understand something, I'm thinking, well, just do this or just do that, and it's just not the case. So
Marriages in our age bracket, for women who are going through menopause, are at a 60% divorce rate.
yeah,
Just
it's
in just for women in the menopausal age bracket. Menopause can start in your 30s. I think my mom said that she had started going through it after just a few years after she had my youngest brother. I think she was like 36 or something like that, um, when she said that she started to go through menopause. And I didn't notice anything. When I had my hysterectomy, I had that because it literally was keeping me, the issues that I was having was keeping me in bed, and I had just had Rory
mm,
and wasn't able to play with her. But once I had that, it just opened up,
yeah,
more energy. And then all of the sudden, life happens, and then menopause hits, and it just, I mean, completes, it lays you on your butt again. I think the energy level for me was, aside from the hot flashes, and that was the big thing because I'm so tired all of the
yeah,
time.
yeah. She'll sleep. I think yesterday, it was a pretty early night. I think she fell asleep around maybe 10, and she didn't get out for almost 11 hours.
Hmm.
And then she'll take a nap, and sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes it could be 4 hours or 5 hours, and there's nothing you can do. Your body needs the rest. And she tries very hard to eat better. She is, regulating what it is that she puts in her system, and she's trying to get as much exercise as she can, and those things help. And um, and at the end of the day, I just encourage it. I mean, I had an ex-wife who had breast cancer at 39,
Hmm.
and her treatments forced her into early menopause. I've known friends of mine who would have, surgeries like removing the ovaries, or, just getting like the hysterectomies, and it pushes their body, right into menopause. It is a I don't want to say it's not devastating in the fact that anyone's going to die immediately, but it does change, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic of your relationship, because she's changing, not because, it's almost like her body's forcing her to change,
Mm-hmm.
and,
The new spring, they call it.
yeah, the new spring my ass. But
Yeah.
anyways, um, she's not going to edit it out. It's the only time I cussed. And it's been tough, let me tell you. And really, that's the whole dynamic here of what she's trying to do is get a little bit of education out there, and study it a little bit more. um, we have two daughters that are, the one's 20, got to be what, 24 this
Mm-hmm.
year, and the other one's turning 18, and they're very active, and I'm pretty sure they're active with boys or girls. It's a progressive world, they can do what they want, I guess. And just to have that kind of fear in the back of my head as a father, hopefully I'm alive, but truth is I probably won't when they go through it. And they're wired like her, so they're going to be raging maniacs.
I don't think that my mood swings
you
have been that bad.
Yeah, she gets a little bit of wine in her, and that changes fast.
So let's talk about the 5 things that truly hit a woman in menopause. The first one is going to be hot flashes. Hot
Mm-hmm.
flashes are attributed to 80% of women who are going through either perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. And all of these things that I'm going to kind of go over don't ever stop. Like once you hit menopause, these are not like this therapy that I'm going to have to go through is going to be for the rest of my life. It is not you it's not like when when women start menstruating or when they get pregnant where they have, a certain amount of time and then, you know, periods last 7 days on
Mm-hmm.
average, 5 to 7 days and it's every 28 days. You have those 3 weeks of, relaxation. You don't have to deal with the symptoms. Unfortunately, menopause is the complete opposite. You're going to have these symptoms forever. And a lot of the again 80% of women have hot flashes. Now that is attributed to your estrogen decreasing. Your estrogen controls how your body regulates. It controls your sweat glands. It controls, your body temperature. And so making sure that you're getting a lot of fluids because you're losing through those hot flashes, you're
Mm-hmm.
losing a lot of fluids. Your body basically is drying up. That's another thing we're going to talk about, all that fun stuff.
Well, let's talk about the benefits of the hot flashes.
It keeps you warm during the winter.
Keeps you warm during the winter. You don't have to worry about the heat bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone just huddle around mom.
And if you're hungry and you want to be lazy, you can just get a pot of water, put it, boil an egg. So there are some benefits. If there's a big nuclear war, we have a heat source. So, and she's been on estrogen therapy now
Mm-hmm.
for several weeks,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 5, 6, give or take.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
before that, I was on estrogen pill, but I
yeah. But now
stopped
now
that.
she's doing the patches, and it's a pretty high dose. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
the highest dose they allow for this particular medication. They aren't as intense, those hot flashes, but she's still,
Mm-hmm.
I sleep next to the woman, so I could have the window open, the
That's you.
heater off. Sure, better we're gonna pause, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do about it. It really isn't. I mean, sometimes I just sleep on the side of the bed away from her, but then she wants to put her arm around me, and so I just sweat it out with her. So I guess misery loves company. And the therapies do help. She started doing testosterone. I think she's on
We'll
her
get to that.
second week,
Yeah, we'll get to
and
that.
we'll get to that. But she's roid raging now, so she's on the juice. But it makes her feel better.
Become a pro wrestler.
All right, go ahead on your
So
next one.
hot flashes and night sweats, those are controlled by a lowering of estrogen. So your body's losing fluid, so it doesn't know how to regulate itself. So making sure that you are extra hydrating. Make no, not with beer. Well, maybe later with beer. Beer. So making sure that your intake of fluids, healthy fluids, waters, if you anything with electrolytes, Making sure that you are hydrated all the time. And I know with women, it is hard. It's hard enough to get in some exercise at time, but making sure that you are hydrated is an absolute
Yeah,
must.
and I would say hydration is just the first part of it, because when you lose fluids, whether it's through sweat or through whatever, you're also losing the minerals, all the good stuff that
Hmm.
your body needs. So you might want to look into supplements. You want to make sure that you're getting your blood checked regularly by the doctor, so there's no low levels of like potassium and
Hmm.
sodium and that kinds of things. So I mean, it can be a struggle. Getting your blood check really isn't a huge expense compared to everything else. Still, with the I think the estrogen patches, it's not a bad cost. I think we're paying,
$30 after
yeah, 30.
we met
Yeah,
our,
this one was actually covered by insurance, so we met our deductible, so
yeah.
it's like $30. But I think before that it was like 300.
Yeah. And the differences between the estrogen pill, estradiol pill, and the patch. The pill, from the research that I've done, it's an oral pill that you take once a day, and unfortunately, because it has to go through your system, once it gets to your actual blood supply and gets into your body, it actually is less potent, and it is also known to cause liver, was it liver cancer, or no,
Ovarian cancer.
ovarian cancer. And so this patch has been proven, um, to literally directly into your bloodstream
Yeah.
to help you, as opposed to going through your digestive system, going through all of that before it actually gets to helping you. The estrogen patch is, literally a patch that you put on the thinnest part of your skin, in your groin area, on your inner thigh, on your lower abdomen, those areas, and it absorbs 100 times better
Mm-hmm.
than the oral pill that you take. So that was that for me. One of the things that I really suffer with is joint pain,
Mm-hmm.
and that has made a huge difference. I think I'm still getting arthritis in my hands, but to be able to walk up and down the stairs, and we have a basement that the dogs go out for when they go out to play, and before, walking up and down the stairs was so tired. I mean, it was so painful, and I still have issues opening jars. When you're not here, it's not fun. That's why I said I needed to get a jar opener. But it just being able to walk was a huge struggle for me, and now having that flexibility has just been so. It doesn't take so much out of me, because that's one of the reasons why I would get so tired, is
Mm-hmm.
because the smallest little task
Yeah.
was exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exhausting. Um,
And then that kind of didn't really help the mood swings.
I am not a part of the 55% that have mood swings.
She has mood swings. She denies it, but they're not drastic. I could sit there and watch her, and you could see it in her face that her emotions are just going up and down. And usually when that happens, thank God it's time to go away for a week to work. So maybe it's me being here for a week. It could be.
It could be.
And I just want to say real quick, and we'll put a little thing in the beginning of this. I mean, we're not doctors. This isn't medical
No.
advice. This is just kind of her journey, our journey through this, some things that we found that we worked, and anything that maybe we're saying. If you feel like maybe that's an idea, please check with your doctor. Don't take our advice
No.
for it. It's just what we're experiencing. But yeah, 55% of women who are menopause, they go through mood swings, and
Mm-hmm.
that could be troublesome in the sense in a relationship, especially when you don't know.
Yeah.
And it also affects your children. We still have one who's a senior in high school, and she tries to understand, and she's more in tune with, a woman's, what is it,
Body.
physiology.
Mm-hmm.
And but still seeing mom kind of shift a little bit, it's hard for her. So that's why a lot of patience, a lot of talking through it. And the best advice I can give is, if you're part of that 55% where you have the mood swings, that your partner, just leave them alone. Just I mean, it sounds funny, but you just leave them alone.
Go in the other
You
room.
go in the other room if they're moody. Ask them what's going on. They can't help it. If they want to talk, just listen. Don't try to give advice.
Mhm.
Because that they it's not like they just need to express. That's these mood swings because it's all tied into your hormones.
Mhm.
And then what were you going to say about the omega threes?
So I'll go over what I'm going to start because these are lists of the things that
Okay.
I'm going to start on top of doing the other two things that the doctor's given me.
Okay.
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 Um, the sleep part of it is not that I'm sleeping, for 11 hours straight. I don't get a good deep sleep.
Yeah.
I wake up quite often. Now, we live out in the country. It's very quiet, but when we have, barn cats and raccoons and foxes and, things like that and livestock that we have on our property and, that I think part
Mhm.
keeps me awake. And also having a daughter and being a mom, all, parents.
But she never listens to me about the dog rule.
I do listen to
No,
you when
you
you with
don't.
the dog rule. I
You
do.
don't.
So I do
The
when
rule.
you're not home, but when you're home, it's your job. I don't have to
Okay.
worry about
The rule is if the dogs are going crazy, barking wildly, you should be concerned. If they're not, don't worry about it. But
I have a routine. So if the dogs are going crazy, then I get up, I look at the horses. If the
mhm,
horses are going crazy, then it's something I need to worry about.
yeah,
But if the
that's right.
dogs are just going crazy and the horses are fine, chances are it's a cat that's outside or
Mhm.
whatever. So,
Yeah, and it can get a little. It's not like we have seen or heard of like you know big cats or bears in the area just
not over
because
here.
not over here just because there's really not a lot of cover for them, so they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be out here. But we do have, in the neighborhood, everyone has 5 or 10 or 2 acre lots, and they will have dogs, and some of them have Dobermans. And I think one time the dogs were going crazy, and I peeked out the door, and there was these two Rottweilers
Mm-hmm.
right on the porch. Nice dogs. I told them to get out, and they ran, and there was no
Then you had to
concern.
close the gate because you always forget
So
to
I
close the
forget to
gate.
close the gate. We do have to deal with possible rattlesnakes from time to time, but we're in Colorado. We made this choice, and so yeah, it affects her because especially when I leave, there is a sense of her being alone, and we've talked about this, and it's difficult for her sometimes. But I have all the faith in her. I mean, she can handle herself better than 90% of the men that I've ever met. So she doesn't really need a man to protect her. She can do it herself, but having that extra layer of comfort, I get.
Mm-hmm.
I get. So, she doesn't need me. She'll talk soft, but the truth is she's a hell of a lot
Don't mess
stronger
me.
than I am.
Don't mess with me. So the sleep obviously is one of them. So
Yep.
we've gone over hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, and sleep. And the fifth one, the biggest one we kind of touched on in the beginning, is your libido,
Yeah,
the lack of sex drive.
it goes down her body to be able to get excited to create that lubrication goes away. Her vaginal walls thin out, so
Mm-hmm.
it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
And so even
Very
if she mentally wants to have, we'll call it relations, we'll call it
relations.
relations, she just can't. And and the therapy's helped. It's helped
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, but even still, it has to be touch and go. And we've just came to an understanding that that's where we are in our life right now. And if it happens, great. Let's not lose the moment, but it doesn't make or define what our relationship is. It was great in the beginning. That's what helped establish the relationship. I mean,
Well, I try. I think what was
that
important
was a little
for
joke.
me, I know you're
Uh,
just again
yeah.
not funny, but anyway, I think for me, realizing what I was going through and realizing how much it was going to affect you, you know, as a wife, this is where the dirty part comes in, girls. As a wife, you want to give your husband that intimacy and that connection, that we have aside
Yeah.
from
Well, it's a connection. That's one of the things we talked about
right.
was for me, she says that mentally she still wants to be there for me, right? And we all know what that means. um but for me it just wasn't the connection that
Right.
I was wanting. it's beyond just the
You
physical.
wanted to see me there and
Yeah,
see me present and
yeah,
see
it's
me
seeing us connect on that level,
right.
where when that didn't happen, it just
Hmm.
felt very, one-sided, and
Yeah.
I made the conscious choice not to. It just, the connection was more important for me with her than just anything on the physical side of our relationship.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that comes the fact that we're in our 50s now, and we're a hell of a lot more understanding, with one another.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing. I mean, this isn't my channel we're talking about. There's things that I'm going through that I have to, struggle through because of my age. Physical sides, and there's some things going on in the inside, and it's just part of it. And,
Hmm.
I was blessed by God to have a partner that we are truly, I feel, the definition of a partnership.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I don't want anyone to think that there's some sort of utopia with
Mm-mm.
that there's some kismet.
It's work.
It is work.
It's work.
It's hard work. She kills me every day. A
I
little
don't
bit.
think either one of us really knew that in our first
No, we
marriages.
didn't.
We both got married very young. We both were in a relationship
Yeah,
very
that,
young.
and it just ended for different
Yeah.
reasons, and I think that we both knew what we wanted,
Hmm.
um, and we found each other by accident. And so yeah, I think it was by accident. Yeah, it was one
No.
of those. Well, no, it was timing.
Well,
I
it was the right time, but I think that you and I, because we knew we knew ourselves
yeah.
so much, and we knew what we wanted, and we knew what we didn't want. We didn't just.
No, the truth is on our first date, she wanted a hamburger and a beer. That was enough for me. I said, "There we go."
And I paid for breakfast.
She paid for breakfast, and then she wanted to watch football with me on Sundays. Guys, come on.
Well, the Broncos and the Niners haven't really won since then, so I don't know what that says about us. Okay, so aside from the pain,
Mm-hmm.
the lubrication, there's a couple other things that kind of go on in a woman's body that I didn't know. Going into this, your taste buds change,
Yeah,
your digestion changes,
yeah,
your body changes.
yeah.
Like I
There's
can't,
a lot of times when you ask me, taste this. Does it
yeah,
taste
because I
different to you?
can't, and it's
Yeah,
not COVID.
yeah. That's for it's like the COVID. No,
No, I mean all of that.
and she
Everything
cooks,
about
which is
you.
scary because that
Yeah,
means everything's going to change because
that's why I use so much garlic.
she cooks with taste. So, and my daughter hates when she changes recipes. So,
Well, because I cook with taste, I don't cook off of a recipe.
but are there any things that you can take to help with any of that?
With the digestion, there's a couple things I think we're gonna have to start doing a lot of supplements, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Metamucil, more of a
Sure.
high fiber, um, things like that.
It's a
But
good thing you like
also,
beans.
yeah, but your body, like I have, I can't wear deodorant anymore.
No.
Um, and that's always been something I've been very conscious of growing up. I've always been very conscious of my body and
Mm-hmm.
being clean and all of that, and then to have this and then realize I can't wear deodorant anymore, and that's been hard. And we
Mm-hmm.
live on well water, and so it's a very hard sulfuric
Yeah.
water, so showers are constant and skin is dry and
A lot of lotion.
a lot of lotion.
And it all, we're at a point in our lives, where we've made the conscious choice, that because her struggles with just the physical side of it, of with all of this that's going on, just affects her, physically,
Mm-hmm.
um, standing, doing, tasks repeatedly without breaks, that maybe it was time that she kind of backed off and stayed home and did what she wanted to do, which was she loves to be a home taker, or a home giver, or a homemaker, right?
Yes.
Homemaker. And so that means financially, it's going to limit a lot of things. But we're at a choice now. Is like what's more important is having disposable income or her health, and I chose her health. and she chose her health, and so that's the effects on our family. So I have to get to work.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
the dogs are getting kind of crazy. Do you
yeah,
want to
they
wrap
are.
this up?
Let's wrap it up. So, for these things, there's a couple things I'm going to start. So, for the hot flashes and the night sweats, aside from increasing my liquid intake, making sure that I'm hydrated, I have my estrogen patch.
Yeah.
I place that on the inside of my inner thigh. And I'm also going to I'm going to start taking black cohash
Yeah.
because that's supposed to help with it. The mood swings, you're just stuck with those. No, that
Woman, I've
is
handled you at your worst.
that's a lowered estrogen level, just like the other two, and so that estradiol patch is going to work with it. But I'm also going to start taking 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. I'm also going to increase our fish intake.
Okay.
So we're going to start eating more
Yeah.
salmon.
Yeah, nothing like salmon in Colorado.
I know, it's so fresh.
It's just fresh.
We're going to start eating more wild tuna, and that's going to support my sleep.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Fine. I don't see any red meat in that.
No, because no, we're not doing.
Where's the red meat?
Well,
I'm not going through menopause.
for the sleep, aside from the omega 3s and the um, fish, the that's affected because of a lower progesterone.
Right, right.
We are going to start doing. Gosh, I should put my glasses on. Magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams, and then chamomile tea.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's gonna help with that, and the magnesium is also gonna help with the joints too.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll
Right. And that's gonna also one of the things that happens with menopause that I haven't really talked about is my weight.
No.
Um, Weight gain is very much a side effect of it because your mood swings, your craving swings, all of that is affected by it. So the chamomile tea, or it's affected because of your progesterone. So
well, not only that, with your weight, I mean, you had problems with your thyroid, and and so
in my liver
your
and
liver and the whole 9 yards, and one of the ways that she's kind of gone, and it's been a struggle to battle that, is she could eat anything she wants from 10, and she quits at 6, and
it's an 18-hour fast.
An 18-hour fast, and she doesn't, well, it'd be that's an 8 hours, 8 minus 24.
18 was fasting. Is it what?
It would be 16.
Oh, 16-hour. Okay, 16-hour fasting. You know me in math and numbers. Don't ask me.
But anyways, so the fasting helps. She drinks a lot of water. She's not a social drinker anymore. She's given that up. She'll have some drinks with me like one day of the week, and that's it. So she's regulated off of that, because alcohol, it dehydrates you. It's a depressant. It
That's what really. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
That when the night sweats and the hot flashes started, alcohol actually increases
yeah, it intensified
it was horrible when it first started. But
yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
we would be in the truck, and all of a sudden she's turning on the air conditioner in the middle of winter because of the hot flashes. So you just kind of suck it up and freeze. Um, but yeah, so the regulating on how she eats and what she eats, she's cooked from home, so we go out rarely anymore. We might be out in the morning and we'll get a small quick breakfast, but we don't really, I eat when I'm on the road just because I'm on the road. But when I'm home, we eat what she makes, and that's helped a lot because she's cut out a lot of sugar. She's cut a lot of salt out. She's replaced salt with things like cumin and garlic and onion powders and stuff like that. And been eating a lot of fiber and beans and chicken and
but also
lean meats.
with outside food, there's a lot of hormones in it
There's a
too.
lot of hormones.
And so when it comes to chicken, I'm really picky when it comes to what I buy in the chicken, because those hormones that we grew up with, cause, like, you see all of the medical issues that our generation is suffering with right now because of all the hormones that they started putting into foods in the 70s and the 80s and just increased it from there. So that has quite a bit to do with our generation's health right now.
Yeah. So in the long run, kind of putting a pin on this whole thing is this is just our travel with it,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't get talked about a lot. I think out there, people, you women will say you're going through menopause. I'm going through menopause, but I don't think there's a lot of real conversations about it.
Mm-mm. A lot
Real,
of doctors, but
and even then, it's, you have to be very. I feel like if you're going to look for a doctor, my advice is, find one that really just specializes
mm-hmm.
in with menopause. And you know, and it's we've had to go through a few before she found
Mm-hmm.
one that she trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to talk about it. Talk about it with your kids, talk about it with your husband, talk about it with your family. You know, because knowledge and understanding is power.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my wife to dear to death. And the best thing you can do is when someone's going through the stuff that they're going through is just be an ear and supportive, and realize your life's going to change, but it's changing because of the health of someone you love.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
So the last thing is the testosterone, the T gel.
Mm-hmm.
The cost on the testosterone for, what was it, 30 days?
30 days, yeah.
30 days was $90.
Yeah, which wasn't horrible.
Wasn't bad. So I do the T gel. I started out, it's been about 3 weeks. I do it, have done it on my shoulders. But I also did some research and found out that, again, just like the estradiol patch, it needs to be on thin skin. So what I'm going to try today to see if there's any kind of difference is put it on the inside of my other thigh, because that's the thinnest skin, is right at your
Right.
groin and in here, and I don't
So
want to
what she's
get big
saying is there
muscles.
could be a chance.
um, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to try that. And then the other thing that we did talk about was the pellet injection.
Yeah.
That was a pellet that they um, put in underneath your skin on your bottom, and it's supposed to last between 3 and 4 months, depending on your body heat. But I did some research on that, was just under $400
Yeah, about $100 a month.
each
Yeah.
insert.
Yeah, so $200 a month for that. Yeah.
Right. And so that, the thing with that was, is it's fantastic for a lot of women, but only for the first couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
The testosterone is very high in it, so it will immediately change your sex drive, but then it tapers off. And so the cost for that, and to do that, for me, just didn't make sense. And so I
Yeah.
think we're going to continue with what we're doing now.
Monitor it and see
Mm-hmm.
if it's effective, and if not, we'll figure out what else is out there.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do. And that's going to be your body's adapt to. Um, what's the word? It's smart. Your body's
Mm-hmm.
smart, and it will adapt to whatever you're trying to give to it. And so you're gonna. I'm anticipating that we're gonna have to change treatments,
Sure.
just because her body's going to adjust and move on. Yeah.
Well, when you're giving yourself, these hormone treatments, you're taking away from what your body automatically generates. Now, there's no way to get really the levels of estrogen or progesterone or testosterone back into your body without that assistance. But it's just like, when we give kids melatonin, that stops your body from producing its own melatonin to help you fall asleep. Um, and so I don't want to go on all of these synthetic drugs and completely shut my body
Yeah.
down. I'd rather try and do something in the middle with both of it to kind of help it to where I can live a normal, healthy
Right.
life and not be miserable and not be crying all the time and not be, you know, achy and exhausted.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to see how it goes, and then we'll check back in maybe in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think
Drag you back in here.
that's fine. You whenever you need me, I'm here. Okay. All right. It's part of the wedding vows.
Part of the wedding
Part of the
vows.
wedding vows.
That and the sandwich.
Still waiting for the damn sandwich.
I made you too many sandwiches. There's a video about it.
I love you.
I love you.
We'll see what happens.
Have a great day, you guys. Bye bye.